The 11th Doctor, Rory Williams, and Amy Pond land on Appalachia in the middle of a plague. Amy is left behind, and the Doctor and Rory must save her. But time for Amy is running at a different speed. Welcome, friends and companions. How are you doing today? I hope you're fine, my beloved friends. Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food, drinks, music, and sport, and especially Doctor Who. Doctor Who has a special place on this channel and in my heart, and I hope it's also the case with you. Random Entertainment Channel, because we will discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies, series, books, and music, except politics and religion. That is not entertainment. Random, because we'll broadcast on non-fixed times, actually on many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. And it also depends on different time zones, of course. Random also, because we have no guests or different guests. It depends who wants to join me in the live stream or panel. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube. And we look what is possible. So you can give your comment on the video and contact me via that. Or you can go to the Discord server, Random Entertainment Channel, tag Doctor Who, and you can send me a message. So, cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. So, today, 11th Doctor story, The Girl Who Waited. So, first I explain how this live stream is built up. First, I do some general info, then I go into the plot, and I will give a spoiler alert when I will discuss the plot, because I want highly recommend you to watch this wonderful episode first before you listen to the plot of this story. So, after the plot, I will name some cast members, do discuss some world building and the continuity, because again and again, this story is placed in context. There are some references to the past, and there are some future episodes who reference to this episode. Everything in Doctor Who is in context. There are some logical things, unlogical things. You can debate about the canon or non-canon, but my point is choose your canon, because Doctor Who is a universe, and universe there are many things possible. You can choose your own favorite Doctor incarnation. You can choose your own favorite companion, and you can choose your own story. Because Doctor Who universe is endlessly and endlessly good. Yes. So that's what this stream is all about. So we now go to the general info of this wonderful story. So, The Girl Who Waited was the 10th episode of Series 6 of Doctor Who. The moral choice at the center of the story made it a character study of the relationship between Amy and Rory. The 11th Doctor's recklessness towards traveling across history would also be brought into question, and how he chose to lie in the face of a grim outcome. So that's in brief about general info of the story. So it's very interesting to see this dynamics, and to also see that challenging aspect of the relation between Amy and Rory, because it is a challenge, and that's why this episode is very interesting to watch, and of course, above all, to enjoy, because there's much to enjoy. It's very yeah, special episode, extraordinary, and also unique in some way. By the way, every episode of Doctor Who is unique in some way. So, okay, spoiler alert, because I will now dive into the plot. Yes, watch this episode. I highly recommend. And then go back and listen to the plot of the story. So here we go. Ooh, after I take some water, so you have the time to really watch the episode. Hmm, of course. So away you go. Um, the 11th Doctor brings Amy and Rory to the resort planet of Epilepsia, one of the top holiday destinations in the universe. Though he promises views of sunsets, spires, and soaring silver colonnades, they step out of the TARDIS to a clinically white room possessing only an exit door with two buttons labeled Green Anchor and Red Waterfall. Amy steps back into the TARDIS to retrieve her mobile phone. The Doctor and Rory use the door, pressing the green anchor button, and enter another room. Bell holds a table on which rests a large magnifying glass. When Amy steps back into the corridor, she also uses the door pressing the red waterfall button and finds herself in a similar looking room, though Rory and the Doctor are not present. Oh, why is that? So the Doctor activates the time glass and sees Amy. A handbot enters the room, though, and welcomes the Doctor and Rory to the Two Streams facility, a kindness facility for victims of Gen 7, the so-called one-day plague. Once the host is infected, they die in a day, which affects two hearted races, including native epilepsians and Time Lords. So, as the Doctor and Rory are held at bay by the robot, Amy appears to fast forward within the glass. When the Doctor finally stabilizes it, she angrily informs him that it has been a week since they last spoke. From this, the Doctor is able to deduce that Amy has wound up in a faster time stream which he cannot access. Their only means of communicating with her is through the glass. The handbot informs them that the other time streams are synced for visits, so those not affected by the Gen 7 virus are able to watch the entire lives of their quarantined loved ones, as opposed to being limited to the viewing of one day on their deathbed. This is meant as a kindness for the patient and loved ones, as the virus that kills in a day instead takes several years to kill. When Rory exits the green anchor room and steps into the red waterfall room to find Amy, she is not there. Oh, where is she? Where is she? So the Doctor removes the magnifying glass from the table, but accidentally activates an alarm in the process. He orders Amy to go into the facility and seek a hiding place where she might wait for him to find her. Before he leaves, he warns her to not let the handbots administer any medicine to her, because she possesses only one heart and is immune to Gen 7. The handbot's kindness is medicine meant for a different species and will kill her. Before departing, Amy asks Rory to save her. The Doctor and Rory return to the TARDIS, but the Doctor uses the magnifying glass to lock onto Amy's time stream. Because the Doctor is at risk of becoming infected with Gen 7, which prevents regeneration, he cannot go into the facility. Therefore, he sends Rory in his place, though they are in constant communication through a pair of glasses, wired with a camera. The Doctor insists that it is very difficult to break through a time wall, but sends the TARDIS off, on their course regardless. So, meanwhile, Amy has arrived in the Two Streams lobby, where she is met by a holographic receptionist, informing her of all the entertainment zones within the facility that she now has access to as a resident. She also introduced to the interface who claims to be Amy's guide within the facility. As Amy strolls along a promenade looking for somewhere to hide and wait for the doctor, she is met by a series of handbots, all of whom attempt to inject her with kindness. She seeks shelter from the pursuing handbots within a vent system in a maintenance room. The smoke from the vent prevents the handbots from detecting her, and she manages to escape. She arrives in another wide room with a console in the center and an empty doorway surrounding it. This is the gate, and the console buttons control various doorways which lead to the entertainment zones. And it uses a majestic garden, which the interface informs her is a perfect replica of Seal Governor's mansion on Shalana. Amy asks the interface about the vent system she hit in earlier. The vent channels the exhaust fumes from the temporal engines, which hold the multiple time streams in place. Amy deduces from this that the engines interfere with the handbot's sensors and wonders where the temporal engines are located. The interface points her in the right direction, and, as Amy prepares to leave in search of them, two handbots materialize around her. Utilizing the sleep sensors on their hands, she presses them together, deactivating both and escaping once more. Arriving at the temporal engines room, Amy scrawls a message for the doctor and Rory on the wall, on the door. Doctor, I'm waiting. So, meanwhile, Rory and the doctor have landed in Amy's time stream, and Rory is exploring the art gallery when he is confronted by a warrior wearing makeshift armor, made from a dismantled handbot and bearing a katana. The warrior lunges at him with a sword raised. With Rory concerned, with Rory cornered, it whispers that it waited for him. As it steps away, it removes the helmet shielding its face to reveal that it is in fact Amy, though she is much older than before. The doctor, who is able to see Amy through Rory's glasses, realizes that he landed the TARDIS much later in Amy's time stream than he had initially anticipated. So, Amy takes out a handbot that has snuck up behind Rory, rewiring its black box with her sonic probe, which she has constructed during her time in the facility, to shield her presence from the other handbots. Rory questions why Amy is still in the facility when she's clearly much older, and she basically replies that it's because they didn't save her as they'd promised. She has been living in the facility for 36 years, and during that time, she has come to hate the doctor more than she ever hated anyone in her life. So, Amy leaves the room, closely followed by Rory, who suggests that they could return the TARDIS to the right time stream and stop Amy's wait for him happening. However, the doctor admits that this is Amy's time stream, so they can't leave. They return to the temporal engines room to find a handbot that Amy has literally disarmed and named Rory. It's her sole companion, though she refers to it as a pet. She continues to berate the doctor, claiming that all she had for 36 years was cold, hard reality, and her life is hell. The doctor asks to speak to the interface, insisting that he will put everything right. Since the interface cannot be activated inside the engine room, Amy takes Rory to the garden. The interface shows the doctor where the regulator valve is held, and the doctor asks Rory to speak to Amy so they can run over technical specifications. With the information he gets from her, the doctor realizes that he can set the time streams right by using the temporal engines to fold the 2 points of Amy's timeline together. However, Amy angrily rejects this plan to save her past self. They, they return to the temporal engines room with the doctor pleading for Amy to agree to the plan. She continues to resist, knowing that helping her past self will mean the past 36 years of her life never happened, and she would cease to exist. Instead, she asks for the doctor and Rory to take her with them, leaving the younger Amy behind to live out the next 36 years in solitude. Rory, who is angry at the doctor for causing so much trouble, angrily throws the glasses to the ground. The feedback on them allows the Doctor to hear the present Amy crying in her own point on the timeline within the engine room. Rory uses the time glass to view the younger Amy and forces the older Amy to confront her own past. As the older Amy and her past self communicate, the older Amy bitterly begins to remember the real reason she was never rescued. It wasn't because Rory and the Doctor left her behind, but because her future self refused to help them when it mattered. Two Amy's begin to discuss Rory and how he's always been in love with her, going so far as to pretend to be in a rock band when they were in school, and how she needs to be saved for Rory. After this conversation, the older Amy informs Rory that she is going to pull time apart for him, but that she will only help if the Doctor agrees to let her travel in the TARDIS alongside her past self. The Doctor reluctantly admits that the TARDIS couldn't sustain the paradox. Through a hijacking of the regulator valves and by insisting that both Amy's concentrate on the powerful memory, which turns out to be their first scares, which with Rory while dancing the Macarena, the Doctor is able to pull the younger Amy into her future self's point in the time stream. So, they set off through the facility for the room where the Doctor waits in the TARDIS. However, because of the massive paradox, the TARDIS is malfunctioning. As a result, the group only has 8 minutes to get back to it. The older Amy bothers the younger Amy by flirting with Rory. Once the group reaches the art gallery, they find themselves surrounded by handbots, which the older Amy agrees to fight off while Rory and her past self run ahead to the TARDIS. However, the younger Amy is put to sleep by one of the handbots, and although Rory quickly deactivates it by smashing the Mona Lisa over its head, she remains unconscious, and she must carry her to the TARDIS. So inside, the Doctor insists that she has just been given a sedative and that she will be fine. Rushing back to the doors, the Doctor spots the older Amy, who begins running towards him. As he shouts that he is sorry, she closes the door, trapping her outside. Rory protests, but the Doctor explains that he lied earlier. There can never be two Amys in the TARDIS, so Rory must choose which Amy he wants to bring along. Through the door, the older Amy tells Rory that if he loves her, she shouldn't let her in. Seeing Rory carry the younger Amy to the TARDIS made her realize just how much he truly loves her, and that she'd forgotten how much she loved being Amy Pond in the TARDIS with Rory Williams. Rory relocks the door, apologizing to her. He's clearly devastated. The older Amy turns away from the TARDIS to see that he has been surrounded by an army of handbots. All of one tell her not to be alarmed because this is a kindness. She calls for the interface beside me and asks to see the Earth. When the hologram appears, she asks the interface if she ever told her about a boy she met there, who pretended to be in a band. The handbot stepped through the hologram, resolving it, put Amy to sleep by touching her neck. As they prepare to inject her, the sound of the TARDIS engines is heard, as the older Amy is erased from existence. Rory and the Doctor wait in the TARDIS, waiting for Amy to wake up. Rory questions whether or not the Doctor always knew that saving both Amys was impossible, but he dodges answering, insisting that he promised to save her, and he did. Rory accepts this. When Amy awakes, she asks after her older self. The Doctor can offer only a grave look before leaving. And that, my friends, is the end of the plot. Well, there are a few cast members, actually. Doctor, played by Matt Smith. Amy Pond, played by Karen Gillan. Rory, played by Archer Darvill. The checking girl, played by Josie Taylor. And the voice of the interface is played by Imelda Staunton. So, not so much cast members in this. This is also a thing. Are a handful cast members actually in this story. So, some world building, communications technology. Doctor mentions Twitter in the episode. Second thing in communications aspect, a time glass can be used to communicate between streams in a zone using multiple time stream compressing engines. Some world building about the Doctor. The Doctor is willing to accept blame for the TARDIS landing too late in Amy's time stream. Second thing, the Doctor lies to the Amy's about their chances of existing at the same time, and in the end, locks out the older Amy as she runs for the TARDIS, condemning her to erasure. Third thing, the Doctor gives Rory a pair of glasses from his bag. World building about locations. Klom is mentioned as being located of a future Disneyland. So world building on TARDIS. The Doctor's TARDIS apparently has a karaoke bar and a collection of DVDs. And the Doctor again mentions Jetson parts of the Doctor. The Doctor again mentions Jetson's parts of the TARDIS for power. About temporal theory, Older Amy mentions destiny, causality, and the nexus of time. And the last thing in world building about planets is Doctor mentions the planet of the coffee shops. Say it was voted the number one place to visit for an intergalactic traveler. Appalachia was voted number two. Then the last thing about this story is the continuity and the context in the whole universe. So, first of all, Rory mentions the Doctor's Fez, reference to the Big Bang. Second thing, Amy previously saw past future versions of herself. We see that also a link in The Hungry Earth, Cold Blood, and the Big Bang and Space Time mini episode. Third thing, Doctor's sonic screwdriver was previously referred to as a sonic probe by the Daleks. See it link to TV episode Doomsday. Fourth thing is the TARDIS previously was only able to sustain a paradox through the rebuilding of its time rotor into a paradox machine by the Saxon Master. You see that in Last of the Time Lords. Fifth thing is Doctor says that the TARDIS hates the massive paradox created by the two incarnations of Amy interacting. That the TARDIS has emotions and personality is referenced by the Doctor on multiple occasions. You see that, for example, in the classic Who episode Rebus Operation, Fifth Doctor story. And the Five Doctors in Fifth Doctor story. And Utopia. And verified by statements of the soul of the TARDIS itself, herself in Idris. You see that in TV episode Doctor's Wife. Next thing, a replica of the Mona Lisa is shown. You see that in also in the City of Death, and also Mona Lisa's Revenge. Second, next thing is Rory and Amy are once again separated from one another for unnaturally long periods of time. Also see that in Big Bang and Doctor's Wife. Next, Rory makes a life and death choice for the two versions of Amy. Previously, Amy has had a life and death choice between the Doctor and Rory. You see that in the episode Amy's Choice. Later, Rory and Amy together will make a choice to defeat the Weeping Angels. We see that in the Angels Take Manhattan. That's the last episode um, where we see Rory and Amy. Amy puts on glasses that belong to the Doctor. The optometrist would later leave her message. We see that in the Power of Three, and eventually Amy would have her own reading glasses, which she gives to the Doctor. We see that in TV episode also, the Angels Take Manhattan. Whipping Angels. Yeah. Next thing, Rory chastises the doctor for not picking up a history book and reading about the future of places he visits. However, the doctor may not be willing to do this because he knows that history becomes a fixed point in time once it is read. Also, in the episode, The Angels Take Manhattan, he is also ended up in situations where, although he is aware of the history concerning a time and place, he doesn't know the circumstances of what caused an event to happen, how easily time can be manipulated into a disastrous outcome. For example, also in the fires of Pompeii and the waters of Mars. Next thing is, like Rory, another male companion, Stephen Taylor, had an attachment to Anne Chaplet, was going to be unavoidably killed in her current circumstances, and wanted to save her. However, the first doctor could not alter the event in time without a great consequences, and lied to his companion and a woman to make them think she could be saved. He was finally forced to abandon Chaplet, let her parents like the older Amy, making Stephen equally as angry as Rory. We see that in the fifth episode, The Massacre. And the last swing is Doctor tells Rory he will be unable to regenerate if he contracts Gen 7 No Generation. He reveals more explicitly at a later point in his life that this is because he had already exhausted his regeneration cycle. And we see that in TV episode The Time of the Doctor. So, that is all for this episode. Perfect, 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 perfect. Um, things. Commercial again. Sci-Fi fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music, and sport. Random, because we discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books, and music. Random, because we will broadcast on all fixed times, actually on many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also, because we will have no guests or different guests. It depends who wants to join me in a live stream panel. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord, YouTube, and we will look what is possible. Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel. Tag Doctor Who. Cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker, that's my name. This was a live stream about 11th Doctor story, The Girl Who Waited. So, I hope you enjoy this live stream. And this is a really very, very high recommendable story to watch. I hope you're doing well. And I hope I will see you in the future, in the past, or in the present. It depends. TARDIS is always flying through time and space. I hope you have a good and nice weekend. I see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye.